then we'll take questions for Coach and for the student athletes.
Thank you. Again, what a great song. It's Luke Combs, another App State grad, probably the hottest name in all of country music, and we're glad to call him an App State Mountaineer. If you haven't seen him in concert, you ought to. This past weekend in Charlotte, he had a hell of a concert, so that's my thing for Luke Combs. On behalf of Chancellor Everts, our athletic director, Doug Gillen, I just want to thank Commissioner Gill for this great event. It's a great way to kick off football season. Representing our program today is Isaiah Helms, our starting center, and Nick Ross, our starting safety. And with these Sunbelt Media Days, it is definitely kicking off football. It feels right, and we're excited to get started next week. The Sun Belt's established itself as the best non-autonomy conference in the country. This is evident with Marshall's win over Notre Dame in the second week of September, Georgia Southern's win over Nebraska, and our win over number 6 ranked Texas A&M in College Game Day, bringing in College Station, bringing College Game Day to Boone County for the first time in the history of our program, and for the second time in the history of the Sun Belt. Regional rivalries has made an immediate impact on our conference, and for the second straight year, we've sold out our season tickets and look to set another record in attendance this fall. Frank Ponce returns to the University of Miami to be our offensive coordinator. Scott Sloan returns to lead our defense from West Point, and Matt Greenhall returns to be our director of sports performance. We return 11 players on our football team, 6 on offense, 4 on defense, and specialist Michael Hughes. We're going to have a few new faces this year. Of our 32 signees, 17 are transfers, and that was important to flip our roster to add depth and add players so our team can make an immediate impact in our program. And for the first time in 2 years, we'll have a new signal caller as Ryan Berger, Joey Aguilar, and Mason McHugh battle it out through fall camp to be our quarterback. I'm very proud of the work everyone has put into our program, preparing for the upcoming season. And we can never turn back the clock from last year, so all of our focus has been going forward, improving every facet of our program for the 2023 season. Open for questions.
We'll now take questions for Coach Clark and for the student athletes. For those of you in the room, if you have a question, please raise your hand and wait for a microphone to come to you. Since we're going out live, please state your name and media affiliation before asking your question. And for those of you joining us on Zoom, please type in your questions into the chat and I'll read them out loud. And Coach, have a Zoom question already. You just referred to it. What's the status of the quarterback battle between Joey Aguilar, Ryan Berger, and others? And how difficult has it been to replace a guy like Chase Bryce?
I wish I had $1 for every time I asked that question today, but it's difficult to replace Chase Bryce. Back to 2015, we've only had 3 quarterbacks, and Taylor Lamb and Zach Thomas and Chase Bryce. But anytime Chase Bryce came in his first year and set a single season passing record at App State, so that's always tough to replace. But I know we have the right people in our program, and Ryan Berger has been in for a year and a half. Had an exceptional spring. Joey Aguilar came in and really caught up with Ryan early in spring practice. And it was really a two-way battle toward the end that makes McHugh start having a really good spring practice. So I'm very excited about all 3 quarterbacks we have. Each one brings a different level of expertise in our offense. And where Chase Bryce could get you 5 yards, these 3 can go 55 yards. Excuse me. So this brings a different element to our game and our offense, which will help us keep defense more balanced as we go forward.
Coach Clark, Emmanuel Pappas, Sun Belt Conference. I wanted to get you to talk about the running back room. There were a couple of guys who were mainstays that you had to replace in Cameron and Daytrick, but just kind of give your overall impressions of the running back room going into this season.
Well, I think we have a very deep running back room again this year, led by Nate Noel. And Nate Noel rushed for 658 yards last year, but he only played in 6.5 games. So a healthy Nate Noel is something totally different. Nate Noel's gained almost 20 pounds in the offseason. Going through it for 2 years now, he knows he has to get bigger, stronger, and faster to be able to last the whole season. And then you go to Amani Marshall, who's a transfer from Wake Forest. And Anderson Castle's a local kid, has really changed his body. He's a kid I'm very excited about this year in our offense. And his goal is to get 0 negative yard plays in the running game. And then you have Kanye Roberts, who's a redshirt freshman. And I think we're very deep in that room, but I believe it starts up front. And it doesn't matter how good our running backs are. If we're not good up front, then we will have issues. And a perfect example is Isaiah Helms. We returned 3 of the 5 starting offensive linemen this year up front who have multiple years of starts under their belt. And we're going to break in 2 young tackles that, if they keep improving, they can be like the tackles we've had in the past who went on for the National Football League. So I'm very proud of the work they put into. You'll hear from them later on, but they have an outstanding offseason. And if their offseason is any indication what fall camp's going to be like, we have a very bright future at App State.
Got a Zoom question for Nick and Isaiah. How disappointing was it not to get to the postseason last year after having so much success over the previous years? And is there one particular thing you have to do in order to get back to that point?
Yes, obviously we know a 6-6 record is not the Appalachian standard, and we expect nothing less but championships, so it was very disappointing. One thing that we have learned is that we just need to reset and focus on the future, not dwell on the past. So that's the biggest thing that we learned from the whole situation. And one thing to take about it is that Coach Matt Greenhall is going tremendously hard in the weight room, and he's pushing us every day to be the best men that we can be and get us ready for the season coming forward.
Coach Kevin Foote, Acadian Advocate, to kind of piggyback on that, when y'all looked as coaches, looked on film, were there 1, 2, 3 main things that, man, we just didn't do well enough in this area that we've got to improve on to keep from being 6-6 again?
Yeah, you really don't have time to reflect till late February, early March, because recruiting never ends. So when you had a chance to kind of reflect on what was going on in all 3 phases. There wasn't offense, defense, special teams. It wasn't just one. There's one thing: we had to be able to finish football games. We lost 5 games by less than a touchdown, and then our conference has gotten better from top to bottom. And the margin of error in our conference right now is 0. 1 turnover here, 1 negative play, 1 missed tackle can be the difference between a win or a loss. So you have to look the bull between the horns sometimes, and we were a 6-6 football season, 6-6 football team last year. But again, I know our players, I know the coaches have reset. I know Nick mentioned that earlier. This is not a rebuild. It's not a reload. It's a reset, get back to where we want to be, and get ready for the 2023 season.
Got a question for Isaiah. Isaiah, since the running game is such a part of Appalachian State's tradition, how important is it for you guys to have a good year?
Oh, yeah. The offensive line is where it happens. If we don't have a good offensive line, we can't run the ball. If we can't run the ball, we can't win games. Running football is where we're going to win.
Coach, you were among the best rushing teams in the country last year. You've got experience there. Could that take some of the pressure off the quarterbacks early in the year?
It could, but anytime you can run the football, that gives your quarterback, a young quarterback, a chance to really let the game come to him. He'll have to make plays on his own. But these aren't young quarterbacks. Again, Ryan has been here for a year and a half now. Joey Aguilar has been in college for 2 years at junior college. So once the season starts, we're not going to hold them back in any which way possible. We're going to really open up our offense. I do believe it's not the old Sun Belt where it was 63, 61 every single week back in the 15 and 16. But, the defenses are better now. And you have to be able to run the ball to win championships, but also you have to be able to throw the ball to open the running game.
A Zoom question from Chance Chamberlain. Coach, can you speak about the importance of hosting East Carolina with the historic East versus West rivalry reemerging in Boone?
Yeah, it's great for college football. It's great for the state of North Carolina. I do want to thank Doug Gillen and East Carolina's athletic director for getting this plan in place. It's a 3-game series. Our first game was in Charlotte at Bank of America, where we had 45,000 people there on a Thursday night to kick off college football. This year is in Boone. Again, it's already sold out. We'll set a new attendance record for that game. And then the following year, we'll go to Greenville. But that's not the only thing. Again, I'm very proud of our state right now because North Carolina came to Boone, North Carolina. University of North Carolina came to Boone, North Carolina. NC State is on the schedule to come in 2025, and East Carolina is coming. So the more you keep that money in state, it's better for everyone involved.
A Zoom question from James McCormick. McCormick, for Coach, and also for Nick and Isaiah. With so many coaching changes and player transfers, what have you been trying to implement to get all those folks to gel together?
Yeah, that's where we live in right now. And Shawn Elliott and I, we were teammates at Appalachian State, and we were joking last night or this morning, and this is going year 4 as me as a head football coach, and I'm the second tenured coach in the conference. That's unheard of in college football, but that's where we live in right now. Coaches are going to go. This is year 4 as me as a head football coach, and it's the 4th offensive coordinator I've had to replace. And they've all left for Power 5 jobs, not better jobs, but for more money. So it's hard to tell them no. But the one thing we're going to do, we're going to keep things consistent at Appalachian when coaches leave. The playbook's the playbook. Coordinators can bring in their ideas and what they want to do, but we're going to keep the nuts and bolts of Appalachian State's offense, defense, and special teams, the nuts and bolts. And with players transferring, I mentioned we signed 32 kids this past season, 17 transfers. And the one thing we do a really good job of is we have to investigate who we are signing at Appalachian State. You have to want to come to Boone, North Carolina. It's not like you're going down I-77 and get off the interstate and you pop right to your university. You have to want to come to God's country. Everyone that came to our campus fell in love with what we have, our facilities, our coaches, and what our mission statement is. So I feel very good about the transfers we have in right now.
Same question for Nick and Isaiah. What have you tried to do to get all of your teammates to gel together?
Yeah, I very much so pride Coach Clark on bringing in App State guys. We're very selective with the recruiting process and how he selected the guys. These are the perfect pieces that we need. And blue-collar guys, guys like Tyreek Thunderbird, guys like Shawn Collins, Mike Fletcher, them guys are coming in ready to work and ready to step in as leaders as well. So I really pride the recruiting process of that side.
For all three of you again, from James McCormick, App State was part of perhaps one of the best Sun Belt seasons in history with 7 bowl game participants, multiple wins over Power 5 programs. What does the strong growth of talent in the Sun Belt and the competition that it brings mean for App State going forward?
Well, it's the new Sun Belt. We're very fortunate to bring 4 teams in last year who made an immediate impact on the value of our conference. And for us to be a part of something special, the best non-autonomy conference in the country is special. And the years of just running through the conference are gone. There from 2016 to 2018 or 19, we played Louisiana Lafayette 8 times in 4 years. And those days are gone. We have quality coaches, big-time coaches, great football players in our conference that output our players in this conference against anybody in the country.
Guys, what does it mean for the Sun Belt, you think, going forward?
You're up.
I'm sorry, can you ask that question one more time?
With the success the Sun Belt has had in the last couple of years, what does that mean for App State going forward?
Yeah, with the success that the Sun Belt has had in a couple of years, that just means more notoriety for App State and more notoriety for the Sun Belt as a whole. We understand that we have to come prepared every single week and not expect to just go into a game expecting to win. It takes hard work, and you actually reap what you sow.
I'll follow up with that question. Again, in order, what does it mean, notoriety? It means that whoever the conference championship is going to be from the Sun Belt has a chance to play on the New Year's Six Day Bowl. And that's what we want to strive for. We have a chance to be in the college football playoff system, and we'll play on New Year's Day.
Zoom question for Nick. How have all the new faces on defense fit into the tradition of strong defenses that have been a part of App State football?
Yeah, with the traditions that have been a part of App State football, we're feeling very confident this year, and we're working hard in the weight room, and we're ready to give you guys a show come September 2nd.
The Zoom question from Chance Chamberlain. Coach, how has the team responded this offseason with Frank Ponce and Scott Sloan returning to the program?
I'm not sure how they responded. I just know it's been it's good to get our coaches, our players back together again. Our players are here to work. They've done a fantastic job through the offseason. Everything our coaches have asked them to do, they've done. That's the one thing here at App State. You don't have to beg someone to come work. They're blue-collar guys. They come in and get a world-class degree and play for championships. That's what I'm so proud of. It's the extra time when you see Nick Ross on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning before you go to church doing the jugs machine, or you see Isaiah Helms at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night having young players up there work on their own. That's where I know we have the right people in our program to have a great season this year.
Any other questions from the floor? If not, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck this season.
Thank you, and go App.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We will continue at 2:30 p.m.